girl, I want to talk today about losing fat, gaining muscle on a vegan lifestyle. Why does it seem like if you're plant-based, you have a harder time at this than someone who is not? I can't wait to talk about this because it's something that I get asked about so often. I always get people in my DMs or people asking me like to coach them through this. So I want to tell you my perspective on this topic. Losing fat and gaining muscle does not have to be super complicated. Usually we make it complicated, and especially if you listen to media and you listen to the advice you hear a lot on Instagram, you hear very common things. You hear all about curbing your appetite. You hear low calorie snacks, low carb snacks, high protein. As we navigate into this health and fitness section of our vegan journey, we try to find those same things. Like, well, what is vegan that has a lot of protein? What is vegan that's low in carb? What is vegan that is low in calories? And if you notice, vegan and high protein, low carb, they don't really go. If you have experienced counting macros or if you've been on any type of other weight loss, this can seem super confusing. Many vegan health foods are just naturally very carb heavy. They're not extremely calorie dense, high in fat. I understand why this has been a subject of conversation. So I want to break it down to you in a few steps. So first and foremost, if you need to lose fat and gain muscle, believe it or not, the key to this is your calorie intake. It's kind of a change of pace because, like I said, we always hear about how we can curb our appetite, how we can find low-calorie snacks that are packed with protein. So I want to tell you to throw all that shit away because that is what's keeping you from reaching your goals. Believe it or not, you need a lot of calories. You need a lot of carbs, especially if you're plant-based. If we just compare apples and oranges here, I did this in the beginning because I used to count macros in order to reach my fitness goals. My daily calorie calculator told me I should eat 1,650 calories. 1,650 calories on a plant-based lifestyle that includes a lot of fruit and vegetables and beans, things like that, is not the same as 1,600 calories of tri-tip and McDonald's. It's just not. They don't treat the body the same way. Once they enter the body, the reaction that goes down in the body, it's not the same. For one, many vegan foods digest very quickly. On the other hand, if you're eating a diet that's heavy in meat and animal protein, those are going to stay in your body quite a bit longer. You don't want to compare them the same way. I learned that the hard way because I thought, well, I can still count macros on a vegan lifestyle. And yes, you can. You just want to plan that it's not going to treat you the same if you go from counting macros on a meat diet, counting macros on a vegan diet. It's different. If we talk calories on a plant-based lifestyle, you need a lot of calories. Even if you do nothing all day and you just sleep or watch Netflix all day, your body still demands energy from you because it still needs to work these organs. Your brain needs calories, your heart, your digestive system, so you don't run on no calories. If I use myself as an example, I burn, let's say, around 1,300 to 1,400 calories a day. That's just to do nothing. And a lot of times when I talk to people that are asking me how they can get to the next level in losing fat and gaining muscle, we calculate what they're eating and they're barely eating 1,400 or 1,500 calories in the entire day for extended periods of time. You can see how that can be a problem. If I do nothing and I burn that, you can imagine if I'm, going about my day, if I go to work, if I'm, walking the dogs and just moving around throughout the day, now my body goes from needing just those 1,400 calories to now needing 1,500, 1,600 calories to do very basic functions. And if you start adding exercise on top of that and you're burning an additional 300, 400, 500, or 600 calories a day, a few days a week working out, you need to put those calories into your diet now. You can't just expect your body to just burn off all the rest of the fat when you're only feeding it 1,500 or 1,600 calories to begin with. You need to give your body enough energy to perform these tasks. If you want your body to make muscle, it first needs to trust that you're going to handle the calories for it to operate your brain and your digestive system and all the more important things. Your body sees muscle building as a luxury. It doesn't need muscles to survive. It doesn't need to grow big muscles. Let's say everyone has muscle, but it doesn't need to give you this surplus of muscle if you're not giving it what it needs just for basic survival. To build muscle, you need a calorie surplus. And you always hear this whole thing like, oh, you need to be in a calorie deficit, calories in versus calories out. It's an overly simplistic way of seeing this because it kind of gets our head spinning. It leads us in the wrong direction. It's not necessarily like, oh, if you just eat 1,600 calories and you use 2,000, you're gonna automatically be really fit and look thin and lean. That's not really how it happens all the time. More often than not, you enter this kind of like starvation mode and your body holds on fat as a survival mechanism. It has fat stores. If you want it to start letting go, it needs to trust that you're gonna feed it what it needs. A few foods that are great for getting your calories up, because I don't recommend just going and grabbing a lot of like tofuti or tofurkey or daya, all of those meat and dairy replacements. Those should be like just fun food to throw in maybe once a week, once every other week. They should not be staples in your diet. It's not the same as doing actual plant food. If you see on the nutrition labels on a lot of these meat replacements, they have a lot of oil, a lot of fat, a lot of preservatives. So I would reach instead for your lentils, your sprouts. I actually started sprouting vegetables on my own. They're very dense in nutrition and in protein, the things that you need. So you can do sprouts and greens, lots of beans, quinoa. Those are naturally protein-rich foods. And now that we're talking about protein, I want to convince you that you don't need nearly as much protein as you have been convinced that you need. Reading health books such as The China Study, The Medical Medium, How Not to Die, those are all extremely great resources that I highly recommend to anybody that wants to really take control of their health and fitness. But they really outline how the body works and why this whole protein fad is really just a fad. I can't tell you the last time I counted my protein macros. I don't really care about protein that much anymore because I know that my plant foods are going to handle the protein in my body. I encourage you to rethink this whole protein fad going around and stick to just whole plant-based foods. You will be fine, you will be healthy, you will earn muscle as long as you are sticking to your calories, high calories, and quality food. So quality food is something else that I wanted to address because, and we touched on it a little bit. If you're transitioning into being vegan, a lot of us rely really heavily on the meat substitutes. The soy riso, the Gardein chicken strips, like those are all like my go-to vegan meat replacements. But I want to just let you know that you're better off in the long run sticking to the foods I mentioned earlier. The beans, the lentils, the quinoa, because your body digests and processes them faster. It's less sodium, less fat, and not that fat is bad, but canola oil fat is not your friend. A lot of them have a lot of corn, which doesn't digest well. A lot of it is GMOs, so I would just strongly recommend only using those for a treat. If you're like really craving something that you can't find, then yeah, go ahead and have some buffalo vegan chicken wings for fun on a weekend or something. The next thing I want to talk about is carbs. Carbs is a bad word in the fitness industry for some reason, and it's so sad because it doesn't have to be. You don't need to count carbs the way that we've been trained that we need to count carbs, because it gives you the perception that you need to avoid them, and you, if anything, need to embrace them. That is what builds your muscle. That's what feeds your body. And a lot of calorie-dense food are also very carb-dense. So you can't avoid the carbs if you're making sure that you hit your calories. If you think about the foods that are very high in nutrition, high in calories, those are things like dates, fruit, your beans, your quinoa. Those are not really low carb. Don't be afraid of carbs. If you're active and you're exercising, your body will use those. Will use them quickly, especially if you're taking them in the form of fruit and vegetables. Those will process real fast in the body. They're not going to make you fat. Fruit will not make you fat. I swear, like I eat loads of fruit. I know a ton of people that eat loads of fruit. There is actually, I read in a magazine that I picked up from the vitamin store that the strongest couple, man and woman on earth, there was a competition, they were completely raw vegan, which means they did not even eat cooked beans. They solely survived off of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. So it's possible. It's possible. You just have to change your mindset. I want to encourage you to adapt an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset. Don't count calories so much and count carbs so much and focus so much on protein to the point where it's like stressing you out and you're rethinking whether or not vegan is right for you. Eat as much fruit as you want, as much vegetables as you want. All of the things that come from the earth are going to treat the body very well. I went online, I went on Google, and I found a calorie calculator. It was the first one that popped up, so I guarantee you it's very heavily used amongst many people that are trying to be fit. And I want to tell you, I want to prove to you that a lot of these popular systems that people use are going to steer you in the wrong direction. I typed in my height, my weight, my activity level, and according to this calorie calculator, it says that if I want to maintain my weight, I need to eat 1,767 calories a day. That might be right. I would challenge that it's more. I would challenge that I probably need closer to 1,900 calories to maintain my weight, but it's not that far off, so that's okay. It said if I want to lose weight, then I should be consuming 1,400 calories a day to lose weight. And check this out. It says if I want extreme fat loss, which sounds appealing, right? Like who doesn't want extreme fat loss, especially like summertime, you want to look cute, like yeah, hell yeah, I want extreme fat loss. The calories drop down to 1,060 calories. Like what the? I don't recommend anyone ever, for any reason, go that low on their calories. And it's so sad because I've seen it happen more often than you would ever believe, that people are consuming around 1,300 calories a day. That's why your body's holding on to fat. It's in starvation mode. So if you go and you follow these suggestions online, you're gonna lead yourself right into a freaking hole. You're gonna end up holding more fat than when you started. This is insane. So even the 1,400 calories, unless you're like 4 foot, 100 pounds, 90 pounds, I don't recommend anyone only eat 1,400 calories a day. That's insane. For the average adult female, I mean, 1,800-ish should be like your freaking minimum. And I mean, I would even challenge to go higher than that. If you're eating really great quality food, you can eat a lot and still have a very lean body. So this is crap. The maintenance calories, I mean, it's okay. I think it's still low, but I recommend using these tools only to get an idea of the bare minimum. See what your maintenance calories are and let that be your minimum. You want to feed your body a little bit more than it needs, so that way it can use that extra fuel to make muscle and to keep you lean. A muscular body will burn more fat naturally because your body just burns more energy, uses more energy to keep this body maintained. So you're better off enjoying your food, eating more, letting your body transfer that into muscle, and then letting that burn your fat off. Don't try to cut your calories down. Don't deprive yourself. Starvation is not the name of the game here. You need to enjoy your food. That's what it's meant for. I think food is meant to be enjoyed. Enjoy your food, enjoy your calories, especially your carbs. Don't worry so much about protein and you will be good.